Hello and welcome back for another episode. I'm so glad you guys can join me again. Today we'll just jump right into it. Today we'll be talking about the oldest university in the world. The oldest university in the world. And that is, the name of the university is called Timbuktu, and it is located in Mali, West Africa. Now Timbuktu was established, some people say it was established in the 900s and the 1000s, but as far as it officially been established was in the 1100s. And but the build up to it actually started in the 900s and 1000s. So Mali is a very, very, very old university, very, very ancient university with many teachings and much knowledge. There were three sections of the school or the university, and the sections were actually called the Masajid, and I could be saying it wrong. I can't necessarily pronounce it the right way, maybe. But they had the three schools. They had the Masajid of Dijing, and then they had the Masajid of City, and they had the Masajid of Sankuri. So these were the three, core sections of the university that built it all the way up to create the Timbuktu as a major university. And during this university, in the height of the university in the 1200s, they had over 25,000 students that attended this college. Now, with the city having a population of 100,000 people, as far as actual people that settled down inside of Timbuktu, 25,000 people is 1/4 of the population that was in university, that was learning about the higher sciences, the higher knowledge, the universe, how stars work, how the galaxy works, and also how to cure diseases. Learning different languages. I mean, anything you could think of in Timbuktu, this was the mecca for West Africa and for universities as a whole at that time period. And it was so much knowledge going around, so much knowledge that was being spread around. You would have people that actually owned the books that were taught in Timbuktu, and they were part of those people's wealth. So if you were a family and you had books that were compiled throughout your family and your tribe, and it was compiled and it was passed on to you, you might have books that have talked about, if you were poisoned by this certain plant, what other plant you can go eat, or if you was bitten by this snake or this animal, what you could do to cure yourself. And this was back in the, even before the 700s, 600s, but all this information that was being compiled together. And with the university just sort of pushed it into the stratosphere, because the city of Timbuktu, the University of Timbuktu and the city was actually named after a African woman that was in the area originally when Timbuktu was still, not even conceived yet as a thought as far as being a university. And they actually named the university after her. And I want to say her name was not Timbuktu, but her name was Timbuktu or Timbuktu or something like that. So they named the university after her. And she was the one that actually looked after the land and where it was at, and the first establishments of the settlement of the city and the university there. She was one of the main people that never left, and she was always one to go get water and food and to basically keep the town organized and keep people, hope alive, and just had a very big advocate of that area and understanding that area could be developed to something greater than what it was at the time. So, like I said, you had 25,000 students in the 1200s that went there. Everyone from East Africa to West Africa to Europe to everyone in the world was trying to run to Timbuktu, was trying to find Timbuktu because of the knowledge, the sheer knowledge and wealth. And basically in Timbuktu, there were 4 levels of university curriculum, and basically the levels were, the beginning was the circle of knowledge, the second was the superior degree, the third one was the secondary degree, and then the fourth one was the primary degree. And in addition to those 4 degrees, you were also learning religious beliefs, you were learning principles, you were learning geographic, mathematical, science, medicine, amongst a lot of other things. So this was a very, very, very beautiful place, a big university, very wealthy university. Actually, the king of Mali, which is the country that Timbuktu is in West Africa, he saw the wealth, the growth of wealth of knowledge, materials such as gold, salt and spices and dyes, and he was just amazed by this. So he actually went down and took over Timbuktu, the university, and actually it was an Islamic state at the time. They believed in Islam. A lot of people there believed in Islam. So to show the power of Timbuktu and the university and the wealth and the knowledge, the king actually took a trip to Mecca with, or so it says, with 80,000 people, with gold and spices. I mean, and it says from everywhere that he stepped his foot, from Mali, West Africa, all the way to Mecca, he would adorn every country and citizens of small towns and big cities with gold and spices and camels and just ridiculous amounts of wealth, and the wealth of knowledge, giving away free books that were copied, that were rewritten, to how to farm, how to pasture, how to have good agriculture in the desert, or how to have good agriculture in the jungle or in the plains or in the mountains or wherever the region was. And on this trip, he was said to be one of the most glorious kings of all time, as far as how he shared knowledge and wealth, and didn't want anything in return on it. The only thing he wanted in return is just to show off the prestige of Timbuktu and Mali as a country and as a whole, being the king of it. So I thought that was very, very interesting. I thought that you guys would love to know that. Also, you have to understand that, you know, at the beginning of the 12th century, Timbuktu was very, very organized. There was very much a city and a university, but the university was so world-renowned and so known throughout West Africa and Africa that the city was very plentiful off of just the currency that was being accepted just to attend the university. So the university was a major boom in economics, at least in that area, in that part of Mali, and it was a beautiful thing. It was a very, very beautiful thing. All tribes and all people from different places around Africa, in West Africa, would go through Timbuktu, and that would be a hub for trading goods and knowledge, and scholars from different countries that would come back to the university and would just check on it and see what new knowledge they could learn and what other knowledge that they have acquired from their country or their place of study, and they could actually exchange it with people there. So it was such a beautiful university, a big, huge university that was very, very intelligent and ahead of its time. Within that time period, from the 1200s to the 1500s, it was said that in the city alone there was over 40,000 books. Just in the I'm sorry, not even the city, in the university, there was over 40,000 books on agriculture, space and science, the science of the body, the science of diseases and viruses and bacteria, and just all kind of things, survival and the human body, just mind-boggling. You know, and a lot of people still don't know about this, you know, especially if you're of African descent. A lot of people might have heard the term Timbuktu, like, oh, where are you going? Somewhere off in Timbuktu, or all the way out there in Timbuktu? Because Timbuktu is in a desert atmosphere, and it is in the lower part of Mali. But I've always heard that term back in the day, like, oh, where are you going? All the way out to Timbuktu? Who knows? You know, and it's crazy that you would say things like this, but it's just in your DNA and your blood, and you've heard someone say that before. So when you say it to other people, especially people of African descent, you don't even understand how much you're talking about the oldest university that still exists. You know, something that has to do with your heritage and who you are, and maybe some of your family, you know, 700 years ago, 600 years ago, maybe attended Timbuktu. You know, I think that we should, as a people, try to preserve Timbuktu, and that is actually happening as we speak. So leading to that, there are families that still live around Timbuktu and throughout all of West Africa that have books that were part of Timbuktu, the university, as far as the teaching courses when students would, you know, attend college, and higher professors and higher degree professors would attend the college. There's still families that have these books, and a lot of these books are not being covered. A lot of these books are outside in maybe the den or inside, and you know, sometimes sand might get onto these books, or maybe insects might get into these books and chew through the pages. So there's right now over 700,000 books that are in Timbuktu right now, that only, I want to say, at least 20 or 30,000 of them have been decoded. And on top of that, they were talking a totally different dialect, or in the meanings of the language was different in the 1100s and 1200s compared to what it is now. So it's just amazing that there's going to be 700,000 books of science and knowledge that maybe the world has written Africa off too soon, because they don't want the knowledge and the wealth to be. Maybe there's something in there to cure AIDS, if they don't already have that cure, which I'm pretty sure they do, but it's just not a market for that, and death pays, you know. So, but there could be so many cures and so many just advanced technologies in these books, and ways of thinking and treasures and landmarks that we have not even discovered today in these books. So, you know, a lot of these families don't want to give these books up because there's a mass wealth of knowledge in them. You know, and especially back in that time period, if you had books and they were written down and passed on family to family, this was like gold. This was even probably better than gold, because this could tell you how to mine gold, or this information in this book could tell you how to cure the disease, because all the money in the world doesn't mean anything if you're about to die and you can't cure this disease. So these books mean so much to these families. It means it's actually a staple of wealth, and knowledge is wealth. So I'm glad that, you know, we learned about Timbuktu today. It's a very, very big hub of learning, always was. Now it is a landmark, and, you know, hopefully Timbuktu thrives. And that was the talk on Timbuktu. If you have any questions about Timbuktu, give me give me a call or email me. I have information at the bottom. So yes, I hope you enjoyed it. And once again, peace and love. Be safe.